Keith Bonner. Pitch. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Texas pledge. Under the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. All right. First item on the agenda is public comments. No public comments? All right. Let's get into the first agenda item, which is a presentation from Tim Duckworth, the Cunningham Recreation, on the status of proposed playground design at Heritage Park. Good evening.
Hi, good evening. I'm Michael Maurer with M2L Associates. I'm a consultant that's working with PGL Architects that I'm filling in for Jeff Gerber because he's on a plane right now headed west. So I just wanted to, I've been working with Tim to take a look at the playground feature, and I just wanted to give real brief kind of context to kind of where we're at on the plan, what some of the things that had transpired, and I'm going to turn it over to Tim to talk about an opportunity through Game Time, one of the companies that he represents, to provide some funding assistance for the playground. So this plan here, this is currently what we're considering the base bid in the park area. This is the elements that are currently funded. It's the parking lot, the detention, some landscaping, some site trails. So this is what is currently funded within the current package that's part of your Civic Center. Up on that, we layered a number of elements that we thought were appropriate for this particular park, and I won't go into too much detail on this other than this is the final plan. So you can see there's some elements in there, the main picnic pavilion, a gazebo, playground, restroom. You can see those on this particular plan. This is the restroom, playground, pavilion, and gazebo. So those are elements that are in the drawings. They are going through permitting right now. They are not funded, but they are being priced to provide some avenue for understanding what the costs are. And this is a summary of those particular elements. What we are considering alternate one is the gazebo and some site furniture for it. The pavilion, which is in the magenta, that's alternate number 2. Restroom is alternate number 3. And then the playground is, through a variety of different discussions, ends up being alternate 4. So all of these 4 elements are currently not funded within the current project that is going through the city. So during the process of doing the package and developing some quality standards for the pavilion and playground and a number of things, Tim can talk a little bit more about. I've worked with Game Time. I'm familiar with their particular program, and so we started having a conversation with the architect, with city officials, to look at their program that helps cities like yourself fund their programs and fund their recreational activities. And so what you see here, this particular shape, is what you see on the plan. It's the area that identifies what we had available for the playground. And just a couple of things, I just accented, this is Tim's plan, but I accented some things. There are a couple of things that we heard from you all that you would like to see within this playground. One was some level of accessibility from the sidewalks, ramps, up to some of the platforms, so we could accommodate children that had physical disabilities. The other thing was what we're calling an accessible rocker, so a child could get up onto the ramps, up into a play feature, and have some dynamic activity that they would have accessibility for. Climbers, shading, a separated 2 to 5, the 5 to 12. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand this over to Tim, and he's going to talk about the game time program, what that entails, what they're able to provide if the city and you all were to choose to look at that. Just so I'm real clear, so none of this, the playground surfacing, the concrete borders, any of the equipment that Tim's going to show is currently not funded. But this is certainly an opportunity that could help you accelerate and give kind of a kickstart to being able to make this happen perhaps quicker than what you all had envisioned or what the city had envisioned. So with that, Tim, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Perfect. Thank you, Michael. Tim Duckworth, Cunningham Recreation, representing Game Time Playgrounds. This year, Game Time, in the past, you guys taken advantage of the grant for Croy Park. What that is Game Time at the end of the year. They come up with different programs to allow cities, churches, different people to be able to purchase more equipment, stretch their dollar. And the application has already gone in there has been a dollar amount granted. It's not guaranteed. I mean, it's guaranteed, but it's not like you're at, you have to do it. It's still whatever you guys want to do. But it gave me an opportunity to give it for Game Time to tell me this is what we're willing to do, and then I can start to design, and then to that space meet all your needs of the playground that you guys were looking for. So it kind of gave me a rough number of what they're willing to match dollar for dollar. So any questions on the Game Time grant, or everybody? Yes, ma'am.
So you're doing this for us. We're not having somebody do a grant writer do it or anything?
No, ma'am. That's
Okay.
part of our company, the manufacturer Game Time. And it's just a simple application, and that's been done, and they're saying, we're willing to match this dollar amount on this project. And so there's nothing else needs to be done. If you guys say, we don't want it, okay, I go about my merry way. So there's no obligation is what I was trying to say a second ago. So Michael challenged and said, look, this is the space. This is what the Parks Board was looking for. And you know the grant, how can you, and it's not on everything that we have, it's on limited equipment. It's on certain equipment that I'm able to do the matching fund. And so how can you maximize the city of Manvel's dollars? So I went to work. And what I have here, if you give me a second, my mouse isn't working, I apologize. There. Yeah, I actually have to switch a program. So the reason why tonight, this is a program from me. It's a 3D program, and it kind of allows me to go through the playground that's designed for your space. The top view that you just saw a second ago, that was that Michael shared with you. I'm now going to give you like a virtual tour to walk through so you can actually see what I'm projecting for you guys. This is the space that's current now, that's designed, and then the playground would fit in as you see. And so on this program, please be patient with me. It's a designing program, so I've got to twist and turn. If I'm twisting and turning too fast, just look away. It'll make you a little nauseous. So with this, we talked about the first part of what Michael talked about is accessibility with a child that might be in a mobility device. To be able to get that child onto the play structure, have activities to play with their friend. What you're seeing right now is the ramp that allows you for a child in a mobility device to go up to this deck right here. There's an option for them to transfer out of that device and move into a slide on this if they choose. On the other side, this piece right here is what we call a rock and raft. That's, say, a child that may not be able to move outside of their mobility device They can transfer their device onto this raft. Other children as well can sit and play, and a parent, adult, other kids push back and forth to give that child that motion that might be in there, and other kids as well. You don't have to be on a mobility device. There's different sitting areas here on this unit that allows you to, their friends, to sit next to them. That's all part of the play is inclusion, to give opportunities for the child to. So then on this next deck here, a child in a mobility device can travel up to this deck. We have an activity panel. A lot of times in a mobility device, they have a lot of great upper body. Have you ever seen a child that can transfer out and, man, they're all over the place. They can come up and down this little rock climbing wall that we have here. We have a little activity panel for them to play with here, a little imaginary steering wheel as if you're driving your car. And then also we put some umbrella shades in this space right here to give that child that shade while they're on that structure. I'm sorry, I'm going to kind of swing you around the backside. Close your eyes for a second so no one gets motion sickness. This is kind of the backside for you to be able to see where here. Also, if they're at ground level, we have a little drum set in this spot for them to, they're able to beat on the drum a little bit of music. And it's not everything is a child in a mobility device. We talked, Michael and I had lunch not long ago, and we talked about, we partner Game Time partners with the city or the University of Utah on disabilities. And they gave us a pie chart, and I'd love to share it with every one of you guys. And so and it helped us realize that within the disability community, a child in a mobility device is about 8 to 10%. It's all the other different abilities that are in there that are greater, and the biggest one is autism. So with that, we changed our molds to our plastics. They used to be smooth and slippery and slick. Now that they're textured, a child with autism, not all, but many, the sensation, you'll see that if there's something textured, they get overstimulated, they'll rub something to just kind of calm and soothe. We also create underneath the playground seating. It's imaginary play. It's to hang out with a friend. Also, if someone's overstimulated, a place to go where it's tight and close and calm down. Any questions? Anything y'all want to see that's different, you like, dislike? Just let me know. I'll zoom in on anything I can do. So the challenge of is to meet all needs of all kids, and at different ages, different abilities, and so Michael said, we want to, I'm sorry, if y'all give me a second with my program, let me see if I can get this to, there we go. This large net on the backside, once you come to this deck here, you'll transfer over to this space. This material, believe it or not, it's called a sure grip material. The best description to what it's like when you check out at the checkout line at HEB, the conveyor belt material. It's a gripping material. It's very, very thick, and it allows for a child, someone that might be in a mobility device, upper body strength, they can actually transfer out onto this sure grip material out to this middle, and they can attempt to climb, maybe not climb. But what it does is it brings them out away from over the playground, and they're just out there. And then the other kids that are climbing, they're together. It's an extremely cool net. It's one of our inclusive nets, and that's attached to the unit. By us attaching it to the unit and not putting it on its own, we were able to save on the use zone and the space and the cost for surfacing, so it was able to attach, and we were able to do more equipment. This is the entrance here on this is the It's where you can get on, a child can transfer out a mobility device, come up the transfer platform. So they have two ways to get on this unit. And then, not all, but some, more sure grip material, they can go up on a higher deck. So we're able to, for a child that might be in a mobility device, we may be able to, that we've been able to design for them to get up to at least a 6-foot deck and go down the slide here on this space. So is that what this whole entire structure is designed to? No, that's the challenge. We need to be able to have our friend in a mobility device. We need to be able to have our friends that have autism. We also need, I like to say, Timmys and Johnnies. My name's Tim. Tim and Timmy, we need to be able to entertain him and build his skill set to get to where maybe Johnny might be. And then we have to be able to get him, Johnny, if he's bored, what happens? He gets destructive. So we have to challenge him as well. We have challenging climbers on this unit. So for the children that are a little bit more skilled set. Here's some climbers that come up, another climber, routes of travel for them to be able to get in to the top of this. And then it's on the other side, we have easier climbers for maybe a child that's not quite there. You can access here on this side of this unit, you can access here. Part of the designing the playground is looping patterns to be able to get a child on and off, on and off. And that's how they stay busy, and that's how you wear them down. And that's why they spend more time at your park. Instead of going and hanging out and doing something just for a little bit, they're gonna spend more time if you create looping patterns and they're constantly going around that playground, up and down, backwards and forwards, tons of different climbing, tons of things for them to do. Questions? Am I doing good? Doing bad? Paul, you're making me nervous.
Base material
The surfacing, that is engineered wood fiber. There's just this program, that's how it displays what it is. It's the wood mulch is what we were instructed. All right, Paul, questions? You seem like you got a question.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, I knew you.
Bars,
got
you
it.
know,
Pull it out of
Yes.
the bars that go up where kids can climb up,
The overhead ladders, yes, sir.
is that slick, or is it just some kind of a material where they can grab it and won't slip off? Let's say it rains and they come over there.
So it's the same powder coating as the other parts of the playground. It's not a large surface where it's going to do something like that. We have 6 mil powder coating. If it's wet, is it slick? Possibly. I'm not going to say that it's not, but there's nothing like sandpaper or something that would give them some type of a grip. I think if they reach up at that and grab it, at that point, they're realizing that it's possibly slippery. Yes, to answer your question, I feel if it's raining and you and I or a child wants to go and do the overhead ladder, if they're skillful, they can do it. If they reach up there and they're not, they're most likely going to slip. That's even if it's dry. You know, one of the accidents that we found is in schools, sometimes the overhead ladders, we have some injuries at the beginning of the school year. At the end of the school year, it goes away. And it's like, well, why is it at the beginning? Well, how many went out and did physical activity during the summer? They sat home, sat on the video games, iPads. So, all right. Any more questions, Paul?
I guess I'll go ahead and ask one.
Please do. The more this is interactive, the more it helps me get exactly what you guys are.
The jungle gym looking thing that they can go out on,
Yes, the big net. Yes, ma'am.
okay, is that like one of the old jungle gyms that other kids can climb on top of and?
So no, ma'am, that's actually a netting material. So this is the highest point of the net. Do you have a child that might be able to get to the top of that? I'm not going to say no.
Okay.
We've seen kids on the top of the rail of the swings. You're like, what are you doing? We've seen all kinds of stuff. But in the industry, everything is designed to industry standards. And so a designated play surface is a 2x2 area. So anything 2x2 or bigger is considered a play surface. So we have to calculate it's called a fall surface or fall height. And so that determines the depth of the surfacing. So we say if it's smaller than 2x2, they're not able to stay up there.
Is it plastic or metal?
Oh, it's metal, yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So even our slides, they're a rotomolded plastic, and then the panels are HDPE panels. But anything that you see outside of that is metal, yes, ma'am. Our playground's at Croy Park, the new one that we put in 5 or 6 years ago.
So y'all did that one?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. With the swing, the green one. I actually drove over there to check on it before I got here, and everything looks great. I guess you guys are putting in a parking lot or something over there. Looks good. So this is a 5 to 12 unit. The next unit that I'm going to rotate, and hopefully, there we go. This probably drives Michael crazy because he's probably better at stuff than this than I am. This is for the little guy. This is a unit for you. So the big unit over here is a 5 to 12. This is for your the mom that has the both 5 to 12 and a 2 to 5 year old. So playgrounds come 5 to 12, 2 to 5. So this is a matching unit. We were able to get them some shade as well. And the way you enter this unit is on the other side. And I'm going to try to swing this around without getting y'all sick. All right, so this is where I'm sorry, guys.
The blue ramp?
Yes, ma'am. That's your transfer platform here. This is where a child that would jump on here, they'll climb up. Say they get a little nervous, it's a little too high for them, little bitty guy, boom, we got a slide right there for them. Then we have a transfer coming across here. Also, this is not a slide right here. This is a tunnel up. That's a piece. I'm gonna get this to work for me.
The tube thing?
Yes, ma'am. That allows, so you can see the ridges right in here, and that's a climber. This right here is a parallel bar. How many, when you were a kid, you walked up to the bar and you stood over and you just did a flip? That's what that bar. Little kids love it. They do it all the time. I didn't think so until I spent a lot of time out in parks and started putting them on. It's a great piece.
What's the height of that bar?
Can I get back to you?
Yeah.
I would be lying to you if I tried to give you that, but I would think it's under maybe 2 feet. It's low. It's the 2 to 5 year olds. It's the 5th percentile. No, it's the 95th percentile of a. I'm going to get it wrong. Oh, I shouldn't have started this. I get my 5 to 12 and 2 to 5. So a child at 2 years old, the things are designed for a child, a 95% percentile of a 5-year-old and a 5 percentile of a 2-year-old. So that's where we try to keep the heights of barriers and different apparatuses like this. So my guess would be about 2 feet. Do you feel, Keith, somewhere in that area?
That's what I've seen at the other two.
Okay. And so, but if you want exact, I can get that for you.
I think the total height of most of the decks is more than 4 feet.
That's right. That's right. And I can look back here in a second and look at the top view and tell you exactly what it is. So we're going to spin this around. So we have a little slide for the little one that may not want to go that high. And then we have where they can cross over. We have here on this side here, we have a climber on this side. Big footholds, nice handle up in the middle. This is the one that's willing to climb and gamble a little bit. This is a lean-in wall. This panel here is not plastic, it's HDPE. It's a very hard material. Last, especially in this area. On this side, it's a little rock climber here. And then, I'm gonna try to spin this thing. My favorite. Let's get them up there and race. We put a triple slide out there on the end for them. There's nothing like going to the park. Mommy's meet at the park, go grab some Chick-fil-A, go to the park. They have friends that come. They establish relationships, and then they race down this slide. That's it. That's what I have. I want to share that with the game time matching grant, that this equipment came out, installation equipment, surfacing came out to rough numbers of 350,000, somewhere in that market. Game time is matching at a $95,000. So we're roughly at about 250,000 for this design. That's the fall surface. Yes, sir, that was fall surface. Your geopaper to go underneath it, installation of the equipment, and shipping.
What's the warranty?
There's so many, like this piece has a different warranty. Uprights have limited. I can get you all the warranties. It's the same warranty that you have at Croy Park. It's pretty much what the industry standards are. Yeah, it's not just like it's across the board. The different pieces have different warranties.
What's the life expectancy of the span of a unit like that?
So that's interesting. There's times when the cities, there are some different maintenance and how they keep up, vandalism, different things. But I have seen some game time playgrounds, the city of Beaumont, and I love to brag on this one because it makes us look super good. It was 30 feet below water when the flood happened in Harvey, and that unit has been there since 1997. Is that common? No. How that happened, I don't know. It's been there a long time, and we just updated the decks. But a typical unit, 25 years, 30 years. So your the lifespan of the cloths on the tub's about 10 years. They need to be exchanged.
My question was about the mulch, about the replenishment.
So yes, ma'am, that's an annual thing that you have to do.
I figured, I just didn't know if you had.
So what I typically, with cities, I typically say expect about a 15% each year. And then some cities, everybody has their policies. I like to continue to just do what we call top-offs, just maintenance, keep it on top, because the way the engineered wood fiber works is it's a wood product, and it's ground at 1.5 inches down to dust, and that dust is what absorbs the impact. And so when you keep adding and adding and adding, the 1.5 inches works its way to the top, and then the dust is just underneath that, and it creates the better impact for the fall of the child. 10 years in, 15 years in, there might need to be a clean out and then a full redone. But so
The 15K that you talked about for the maintenance, was that?
15%, I'm sorry, about 15% of that surface cost is roughly,
Just for the surface?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So it'd be 15% of, we would see, if it's a 12-inch fill. And so depending on how much rain and activity and things, there's about, you may do what's called a three-inch top off a year. So if you have, I could do some quick math. I don't know the square footage of it, but I can figure out it, how many square feet do you know? 5,000 or 6,000? 5,000 square feet. You would probably budget Do you want me to get you some little bit better numbers? I would say about $8,000 a year to manage that surface. Some cities do every other year. They're okay with an inch or so low. That's a decision you guys
Do
would
you
make.
have any other maintenance figures for the entire, I mean, is there a number that says it's gonna cost you about, just picking a $25,000 a year to maintain this, or is it less? Or-
I hope you don't have $25,000. The only thing you should have, if you have vandalism.
Or a storm, I guess.
Or a storm, yes, thank you. Just like Croy Park is a great example. There was some issues in the poured-in-place rubber, some vandalism there. We came out and fixed that for you guys. I haven't got any work orders for that, and it's still under warranty. I
And
think
there's not a whole lot of moving parts.
that's right. So the rock and raft here on the end and the mobility device, that's on a gliding system. It's a huge concrete footer underneath it, and then it has a gliding system that's
Just some
underneath that.
standard lubrication maybe, or?
No, this has been out 6-7 years maybe, and I've sold many of them across the coast. My territory is from Orange all the way up Jasper, Victoria, all the whole coast, and I've never had to go back and
So salt doesn't mess with the bearings or whatever's in there for the moving part?
yes, correct. And so I will tell you, there was, and we don't understand why, but because it's such a large footer, we installed this 4 years ago, and the City of LaPorte, the rock and raft there, somehow, some way, the footer got off. So we went back at our cost and said, we're gonna make it right, pulled that off, busted that in huge footer. If you saw how large this footer is, you don't understand how it happened. But we went in and drilled piers over here. We don't know if it's a water table issue over there at LaPorte that maybe, so we way over engineered it again, replaced the rock and raft back on, and it's not the raft, it was the footer itself, the concrete footer.
So none of this is freestanding at all? It's all based on footers and piers and,
It piers, yes, sir. Each one of the uprights is its own pier.
okay.
The only time there would be like a huge slab around everything, some people put a slab when they're doing the poured-in-place rubber, the unitary surfacing there, like just at Croy Park, that has rock base, so there's two options, but outside of that, everything's on a pier.
Let me ask you
Like a
this.
shotgun.
How many years of maintenance would equal the cost of the pour-in-place rubber?
So this is the trick question. The engineer wood fiber is cheaper to up initially, but then you have the poured-in-place rubber. So you're about $11 a square foot with the engineer wood fiber. That's the wood chips. On the poured-in-place rubber, you're roughly $37 a square foot. And then you say, oh, I'm done. I don't have to do anything. That's not the case. You still have to maintenance that rubber. The city of Leak City just do what's called a roll coat on their poured-in-place surfacing, and it was not cheap. Was it? They had engineered, kind of like Croy Park, engineered wood fiber and the poured-in-place rubber. So it's not cheap to maintain the poured-in-place rubber either. So, I would like to say that once you put in poured-in-place that it's good for 10 years, and that's not the case. It needs to be, sometimes it's 2 years, just depends on the Texas heat, how much shade it has. Sometimes it's 3 years, and it's all about going out, running your foot across. When the granules are loose on the top, it's time to do a roll coat that rebinds those granules.
Seems like Pearland just redid Centennial Park and went to the wood fiber after they had originally done,
Yes, sir.
yeah. And that was, couldn't have been that long, 10 years on the poured in place?
Yes, sir. Yeah, And you know, it's, do you want to, typically the port-in-place rubber is really good if you're doing an all-inclusive park, right? It's an easier surface for a mobility device, and you may not have a child pick something up. But with the engineered wood fiber, once it's compacted, which takes, depending on the rain and the traffic, usually 3 months, it's at a good compaction, it is ADA compliant. A mobility device can travel across that surface. So it's kind of what you're looking for when it comes to surfacing. Did I answer your question, or did I just confuse you?
You answered it. I was trying to just see, you know, thinking it was maybe a little bit more economical, but maybe not in the long run.
Well over 100,000 more
Mm-hmm.
to put wood, or the wood fiber over the
Port-in-place.
the rubber.
Mm-hmm.
Port-in-place is about over 100,000 more.
Yeah, it's.
It's significant.
So you would take this structure, if you tried to stay in the same budget, because that's not part of the grant, the equipment only,
Right.
it would go, and to have this unitary surface. On the design, is there anything in there that you thought you wanted to see, that we meet all expectations?
I think you did a wonderful job of listening to what the board here said they wanted and providing that. I can't think of anything that's really missing.
I'd have
This
to
is so
point
much
that
better
this
than,
direction because he was,
that's so much better
hammering
than
me.
the first time things were brought up and there wasn't as much inclusion there. And this park isn't like some future areas we're going to talk about later down the line, you know, here in a couple of years when we get to our big area where we're talking about parks. That's when we can start doing more for more of the disabilities, you know, the sight and sound and stuff like that. This park I don't think is big enough to do that kind of stuff, but it does give a lot of the children a lot better access than what the original design did.
Yeah, Tim did a really good job because I've done completely accessible playgrounds and you have a lot more ramps. So as what Tim was talking about, only about 10, 12% of children have a physical disability that impairs their ability to use it. So if you design it for that 10 to 15%, then you lose some of the other features. So this is kind of a good compromise. And what, kind of going back to my original comment, so we had, this is less expensive than what we had put in our budget. So with the grant, inclusive of the fall surface, I think you said it was like
250.
250.
Right on.
There's a little bit more that you'd have to add in there for some drainage and some of the concrete surround. So you're under 300,000 of a delta versus, you know, what we had in there originally, which was well over 400,000. So, you know, kind of with the grant, the funding would need to be close to like 250 to 300,000 to be able to get it to fit within that park. That's kind of the magnitude that we're talking about here. But it is a good deal. I guess, is there a timing? This is like a yearly program, so if we miss this particular time, it would be like another year before this would?
So, I would love to say, we have this every year. It's not guaranteed, it's not promised. I've been doing this for 16 years, and we've been able to do it. So, for me to say, yes, there's one right around the corner next year, I can't promise it, but we have every single year this time of the year as
When does this one run out?
the end of October with the state of Texas. We get a little bit of a leeway to November the 15th, just because everybody gets their budgets October 1, so game times gives Texas a little leeway. We're supposed to be quiet about it, though.
We didn't hear
I
that.
don't know, tell me.
Yeah. So is this something that we need to take to council and have y'all approve it so we can get it on the books? Or is this something that's gonna have to be sidelined for a while?
Well, I think in order to get the grant, Joe's helped me out here, I think in order to get this grant, you would have to present something to city council pretty soon, like in the next 2 meetings,
That is right.
in order to get something that could be done, because they're still in the process of doing, the way I understood it, and again, correct me, they're still in the process of doing actual bids. So I don't know how that figures into this either.
Yeah, my understanding is that probably within the next week, the full package with the building. I think at one point there was some discussion about a site package. I think that did go out to bid, but that got pulled back, and now it's kind of combined with the building facility, the parking, the park. So that's going out to bid fairly soon. I guess for the grant, so that package was put out. We haven't made any changes. We haven't put your package in there. We still wanted to get that pricing. So we have a comparable from what we have in the drawings for what Tim provided. If that were to go out to bid, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're necessarily tied to that project. The big thing is just being able to make a decision that, yes, we want to pursue and find some avenue of funding the delta between what Game Time can provide to reduce that cost. So it's an opportunity that's on the table. How you decide to find the funding and how that goes, that's really kind of an internal mechanism with you all and the city and city council. From your standpoint, what would you need from the city to include that? Is that just a letter of commitment? Is it actually money in hand? What do you actually need?
So we would need a signed quote by the 15th. We would have to have the colors picked, the quote signed, and then shortly after a PO.
Okay, so it's a fairly quick, so when you say PO, is that after it was selected? Like you submit something, what's the timing to get it actually in the program?
So, give me that one more time.
Well, so let's say the city says yes, or Park Sports says, yes, we want to do this. They get with city council. They don't necessarily have the money in hand, but they're going to make the commitment.
Right.
Is that how quickly from when so you're going to be submitting?
Right, we'll send that in.
You're going to have a quote. They look at it, they say, yes, this is what we'd like to do. What point do they have to have the money in hand from when you submit it to Game Time to get accepted?
So I think I need to get back to you. I think no later than December the 1st.
Yeah, so I'm trying to see if there's a way to say, okay, yes, we want to do this, we want to get in the program, we get selected, we've made a commitment, we have a letter for Tim. When would you have to have the matching money to be able to make?
Approval?
Yeah, so you're saying basically
Is there
plus or minus
is there a deadline to build it?
No.
Or-
Also, this is yes and no. Because we'll store your equipment for you in Conroe, or if you have a yard here, we can have it delivered here and stored here till it's ready for the installation. But we'll break this down in two quotes. The initial quote would be the equipment and the equipment and shipping, the installation and surfacing. That could be as a separate quote. We would just have to have the PO before the start of installation on that.
Because they don't pay for that, they only pay for the equipment and the grant. And there's no expiration date though either, right?
Expiration.
Like, what if we gave you half the money or the commitment letter and then do we actually, I know you want to get paid, I understand that, but is there an expiration date of when we have to really install it? Or if we could like segregate it out?
Right, so once the equipment is, for us, before we start manufacturing, we would have to have the PO for the equipment and shipping. So that portion, I can give that to you guys, I'll give it to Michael. And then the installation and surfacing, if it's installed a year, 2 years down the road, there may be some different adjustment cost on the installation because the cost of construction has changed a little bit, but it'll all be broke down on a quote for you. But if it's a year, 2 years down the road, that's,
So all you want is a PO to get started? A guaranteed PO
for the equipment.
for the equipment? And do you charge for storage?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Is the money, though, actually not paid until after installation? Like most jobs that are done, they do either a monthly pay as the project goes on, or it's paid at the end of the project. Ever how that's worked out? Is this the same way, or are you saying it had to be?
So on the equipment, the PO, once it ships and leaves the factory and it's been received by the installation company, or if you guys receive it at your yard, at that point, that's when they'll request payment for the equipment to cover the cost of manufacturing and shipping it. On the installation side, well, on the second quote that you'll sign, that PO, before we install, we'll have that PO, and then once installation, walkthrough, everything's covered, that's when you release the funding for that PO.
What's the breakdown between the equipment and the installation? I mean, we know the total is $260K with the matching grant portion, but
I don't have it in front of me. I just had rough numbers of where we're at. When you guys tonight was to say, we like your installation, or we like your design, or change this, change that, and then to tell you about the grant, the amount of savings. Now that you say, we like your design, I'm gonna go back and get where it's broke down for you guys all the way down.
yeah, because it's hard for them to ask for something from the city if we don't know those two things, to know what's going to need to be paid by the end of November or the first part of November versus what's going to be paid when the installation is done.
So I can probably have that.
Yeah, so we'll need the breakdown of the equipment and the shipping so we can ask.
Have just get that to you tomorrow afternoon and then get it to you guys, or how do you want to?
So we haven't talked about the details of it, and there are a few other items in there that would have to be worked on, but, you know, Tim can get you that pretty quickly. I mean, we could get it to you probably something tomorrow. So when's your next council is?
6th or, no,
No, Tuesday.
6th or the 8th.
October 6th?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be on that agenda, so you're every 2 weeks?
So it'll be the second,
Yeah.
towards the
Yeah.
end of the month.
Because you already would have posted by now for
20th.
Tuesday.
So it'd be on the 20th, which would mean you'd have to have another park board meeting to even make a recommendation to city council, wouldn't you, Tammy?
Yes.
With the
And
money.
that
Before the 20th.
Yeah,
That can happen on 16th.
we could do it on the 16th.
So yeah, we can have another meeting on 16th then.
Is that enough time, though, to get it on the agenda for the 20th? I wouldn't
No.
think so.
I have to post it.
No, you have it on
It
13th.
goes out on Tuesday now.
I think you'd have to have one around the 8th or the 9th.
Eighth is usually in DC, so it would have to be.
So you could get me
So-
something tomorrow or something that we could.
So what we could also do is like have the meeting, the agenda will include the item, and at the city council meeting, we can update whatever the recommendation is. And the packet could have the background stating that the meeting will happen and a recommendation is yet to be made.
I just want to make sure we don't get into one of these, well, now we can't do this because we didn't meet the proper way to get the recommendation.
And I have a quick question for Tim.
Yes, sir.
Maybe I misheard, but when you started your presentation, you mentioned something to the effect that you've already initiated something. What was that?
So,
and that the funds are on the table and we can either take it or not.
yeah, so basically, it's just a simple application for an opportunity for the city of Manvel to take advantage. And so it allowed for me to, with game time, to just see what they're willing to match. And then I could start designing from there. So if I didn't have a number from them, it's just a simple application that's already that represented the city. And so they came back with this dollar amount that allowed me to start designing from that, because if not, I would.
Now, to take that further is the dates and times that you're mentioning right now.
Sir?
And to take it forward from there, we need hit those deadlines, I guess.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They gave me that goals to hit.
So one way, so you said it's 265, so we would still need to have, in order to make it work within the current plan, we still would have to have some drainage to the tension, we'd still have to have the concrete surrounds, so I'm just throwing out a number that's probably not more than 25,000.
I would think not.
Yeah, so, I mean, so we know the number is roughly 265, plus you're gonna have to have some site work to make it work with the proposed detention. So we're looking at, a max of 300,000. So one way would be to say, maximum of 300,000 with a more formal quote from Game Time from Tim. That might be one way to do it, and then provide the more detail. As soon as we get it, that could be.
But we wouldn't have to ask for the whole 300,000 to get the equipment purchased, correct?
No, but I think it's probably a good idea to know what the magnitude.
Right, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
so that we can present this correctly, it's gonna be a split of, we need $150,000 to get the, I'm just picking numbers, to get the equipment, and then at a later date, there will be an additional $150,000 once the project is completed with installation. But we need a PO by the end of mid-December, 1st of December, to do the whole job. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You're probably looking at, what, 25 to 30,000 of install on that?
I'm not real sure on that. It's probably.
It's usually something this size, it's usually about 8 to 10% of the total.
No, it's typically a little bit more than that.
It's more than that,
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Okay.
It's usually typically about 28% total of install. So
Okay.
I think with install, and so the equipment will be less, the number was roughly around 250, 248, 249, 250, 251. So you have that 50,000. It's not for your concrete and drainage. I don't feel that would cost 50,000. But again, that wouldn't go with that coffer. What right now is after the equipment.
Well, but we would do the deal as a not to exceed anyway, so,
Yeah, that's why I was trying to
yeah.
maybe lead you in the direction of giving a max number that could be more defined, but I think, so what I was talking about, so I'm actually doing a project almost like this in Montgomery County, where the county bought their own equipment, and we just built around it. And so there's a separate playground installer, it's not you all, sorry.
No, I know.
It's who they use, but they're gonna install it, they've already bought it, they've been sitting on it for 6 months, and they're gonna, once we get up to speed with general contractor, they're gonna come right in on top of us and install it. So it's not even part of the package. So that's what you could do in this situation, depending on what your funding and the legal issues of buying from them, or it could even be updated in that package. So if it goes out to bid, that project, we're not talking probably January, February at the earliest that you would be doing any kind of site work. So if it goes out to bid within the next week or two, it's going to be out there for a month, so bids aren't going to come in probably until the end of October. So we're probably talking about February as an install date. So we're not talking about you sitting on it for that long. But however you want to do it, I'm just trying to find a way to kind of fit within your guidelines, not to exceed amount, just so the money comes from somewhere. So it would be nice if City Council understood what the magnitude, what the savings is, but also what the magnitude of what it would take to add that in to the package. And then
Well, I'm just sitting
how
here
you find
thinking
that
of
money.
questions that are going to be asked once the presentation comes of, this is the amount of money. So all the details that can be presented to y'all to make the right presentation to city council is very important. So it doesn't seem like you just picked a number. Does that make sense? And that's why I asked for this breakdown, because it'll be important of how much is needed at this point and how much is needed at this point down the line. The way the funding is kind of shaking out to work right now.
All right, any additional discussion on this item?
You feel really confident about getting that over to Tammy in the next couple of days?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. The rendering of it may take a little bit longer, but the actual numbers themselves, I feel very confident.
And I kind of like the way that was done. I don't know what y'all think, but I think that is very inviting for all children. And it looks really cool. I mean, I would play on it. So,
Yeah,
But we need to play on it first, don't we?
well, we're
I'm all
supposed to
for
be
it.
able to test it out, right?
Right.
Tammy, I would think that maybe they needed to be back to present this maybe in workshop fashion on whenever it turns out on the 20th, if it's going to be on that agenda. Just so, and this is fine right here. I know you were talking about a further rendering, but
Yes, sir. So
this is,
we can choose colors and we can, doesn't cost
that's
whatever color you
all,
want.
that's all the minor details that can be worked out later.
Will you charge us extra for rent?
No, ma'am, believe it or not, and we can do it. I've seen some stuff that, it's amazing.
It's poured plastic, right?
That's right. It's, so we can change different things, and I know you guys are trying to get out of here, just kind of just different palettes and stuff to look at. That's all stuff we can just do in this program and try to get it dialed into exactly what you guys like.
That's something that we can do once we get past this hurdle.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It would have to be done before,
You have to put the order in.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So it's something that we would have to spend some time with and focus on.
Sorry about that.
And I could do that if you guys are available on Zoom, or if I need to come back in person, whatever, I'm up for whatever.
Yeah, I'm just looking at my notes from the last meeting where we talked about the initial drawing, and it looks like you checked all the boxes, all except one. Mary, I think you mentioned a Western theme.
Oh, yeah, but that, when we talked about the pavilion being more like the train station,
Right,
that
yeah,
was
that's
good.
the structure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm, like I said, I'm good with that. Maybe red, white, and blue for the colors,
Well, it's Heritage Park, I think that's appropriate.
Yeah.
so.
When you talked at the beginning about options, which one of those options was this?
That's the color palette down there, right?
Oh, the original one, color palette, is that?
No, not color palette. I'm talking about when you were talking about I think there was 4 options that haven't been included in the cost of
Yeah,
the,
that was four, playground was 4.
it was 4?
Number 4.
Yeah, number
How
4.
you listed them?
The,
Oh, yeah,
The unfunded.
the bid alternates was 4.
Alternatives.
Yeah.
Alternate 4.
so that was the pavilion, the gazebo, the playground, and the bathrooms.
Okay.
So if y'all are good with red, white, and blue, we can tell him that, and he can go ahead and really get us some good prices. I mean,
I don't have any opposition to
I
that
don't.
color scheme.
I don't either. You need a motion, proceed, or what do we need to do?
It's just a group decision,
Yeah, yeah.
kind of a
Next
majority.
meeting is when we have to actually,
Okay, approve?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
we understand it, yeah. We have the nuts and bolts.
numbers.
We're not gonna do that today.
Right. So you
Okay.
have to be here next meeting. We both have to be here.
if it is going to be
Make sure you
on
call me.
the 9th, I will not be here, but don't let that stop you.
It's gonna be on which?
If it's going to be on the 9th, I won't be here.
It actually would be on the 16th.
Okay, the 16th I'll be here.
16.
October 16th? I'll be, I'm in New York City all that week, but I am flying in that day.
Hurry,
You won't be here?
hurry.
I'll hurry.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna be in Catula dove hunting, but I'll go afterwards.
Well, you should go this weekend.
All right, I'll probably better.
And take me with you.
Take you with you, yeah. Hopefully they're flying.
They're supposed to be. I heard they were, at least up towards Montgomery County and all that.
This is South Zone, Catula.
So that, okay.
I'm up
could you-
Pearsall. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So if
White Wing.
I may, we want to move to agenda item B. Did you already give the kind of the PGAL update?
Oh, yeah, so, as I said, the package, and actually I just talked with PGL today. They're packaging it to put it out to bid, I think, this upcoming week. It's going to be a 4-week bid period. So originally, like I said, there was supposed to be an accelerated just site package. I think there was, it did go out to bid. The pricing wasn't very competitive because it was separated from the bigger project. So everything is going out to bid this upcoming week. And so I think that's a 4-week process, because I literally gave them my drawings today. It's gone through permitting. It's the last round of permit comments were submitted recently, so I think that's all been clear. So it should go out to bid, and within 4 weeks there'll be the bid. And what I had shown before, what's up here, those 4 items are on the bid.
That's what we're bidding, right?
Yeah. So the base bid is what I had told you before, which was the basic park area with detention.
Why did I think the bathroom was one thing that was included in the base? I don't know.
I know there had been different discussions back and forth as to what was in the funding. There may at one point have been some discussion about the restroom being in it, but it was pulled. The restroom was sitting at well over $400,000 for a prefab restroom, at least our estimate. But this is currently how it's structured within the bid.
Do you remember, and I know you're not tied in because you haven't gone out for bids yet, but what was the total cost with all 4 options?
I think it was about 1.3.
3? That was what I was thinking.
1.3-ish. And the 1, 2, 3, and 4, there was different iterations of what the priority was. I think the way the city handles it from a legal, that you can pick which one you want, but it was just set up as a.
But the good news is, with the bid that we're hearing tonight on the numbers, with the grant possibilities, that may drop a couple of $100,000.
It is, I can guarantee you that what I have on the drawings is more expensive than what Tim has.
Yep.
Just because of the numbers that I had as an estimate from the previous ones. So his number, even without the grant, is very competitive, and it's high quality. And I've worked with Game Time, and so it's.
So what's the possibility of other portions of these options falling under some grant system somewhere? Any idea there?
It depends. Usually those kinds of structures, I don't know of anything that would fall under a vertical improvement. Usually most of the grant monies for parks is flat work and parks and trails, and occasionally vendor grants for playground structures.
So I know some other discussions on parks, when we were talking to the county just in discussions, they had found some grant opportunities for, I want to say, like pavilions, and I just can't remember totally. It's been a couple of months since we had those discussions, so.
Yeah, I'm not aware of anything offhand.
Okay.
And the thought of putting these in there, even though we know it's not funded, it gives you a baseline of where we're at. That's, I've had 3 parks be bid in the last 3 or 4 months, and I think my numbers are pretty sound based upon what I've seen. It's not inexpensive to do.
But aren't the final number for what's available for the park is going to hinge directly on how the quotes come back for the major construction part of City Hall, correct?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, that's tied together in terms of the total money. My understanding is that the money, so there was the City Hall package was scoped, and then this opportunity became available, and there was money kind of carved out of it. So yeah, potentially, yes.
But that was based on an estimate of cost, how long ago?
Yeah, I don't recall, but
Years?
A while
my
back.
understanding is the park was never in the original scoping
Right.
directive. It was something that became available. I don't know the exact details, but I do know I had heard that this was not.
But you think you'll have the final numbers for the project in 4 to 5 weeks?
Yeah.
Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
Because that's going to be an important thing
Yeah.
to city council is, it's hard to say, here's 300,000 for this when we don't know what the final leftover is to know what we've got available and what we have to figure out.
Yeah, I gave PGL my bid drawings literally today.
Yeah.
So they're getting ready to put it out to bid, knowing that the last round of permit comments have been addressed. And they feel, usually you get all your permit comments and you get it cleared first, but they felt
And-
comfortable enough to go ahead and start the process.
That's my only worry is, and I can only speak for myself on city council, but for us to listen to a request for $300,000 when we're not going to know for another 5 weeks how much money's left in that budget, it's hard to say.
Leftovers, right?
Yeah. I mean, am I saying that right, Joes? I mean, it's going to be,
So,
that's going to be a question of, the first question that's probably going to be asked on city council is, what's the estimate for how much money we're going to have available after the project's done? And you're not going to know that when we have to have this number or this contract to you in how many weeks?
technically,
Is that 6 or 7? 6 or 7. You got to kind of look at a crystal ball, which here lately, after just going through budget for a month and a half, our crystal ball can be kind of fuzzy.
Yeah, and it's not the ideal situation. It's just an opportunity.
I understand.
That is there.
And it's an important one because it's saving $100,000.
Right.
Yeah, that's not small.
I just want to give everybody their, this is the kind of questions that's going to come up for council is, and that's going to be Joe's and Dan Johnson and
Rosie,
Rosie. They're going to be the ones that are going to ultimately have to put their heads together and give us an opinion on whether we move forward with this or not.
Let me ask you, are you saying that you don't know if the money's going to be out here to fund this project now? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know that 100% of what's needed for Heritage Park will be left over from building the City Hall expansion and doing what needs to be done. Okay?
We get
So-
the leftover of,
So if there's 800,000, let's just pick a number. If there's $800,000 left over, we've still got to come up with $300,000.
Right, okay.
Okay, where does that come from? I mean, there's some funds available. We're still, we're not to the end of the current budget year yet to know where all those funds are going to fall in and what's left over. And, we're making assumptions right now based on the best data available. And that's all going to have to play into this decision here. Is every week Rosie gets a better idea of what are we going to look like on October the 1st.
Is there a consensus now they want to proceed, would you say?
Well, I think there's a consensus that we want to proceed, and it's just, we're going to do what's right for the citizens of Manvel as far as money-wise. We just got through going through a budget where we move funds around and found funds.
I got you.
And so I don't think you do that without a consensus that we want to move forward on projects like this. Everybody knows the importance of this park and other parks in the city. But I just don't want, I want everybody to understand all the little details and interests. I can't ever say that word.
And I don't want to start something we can't finish either.
That's true.
I don't want something to sit there halfway done and then get left behind.
I think we talked in a previous meeting about a phased approach, so that's always an option as well.
That's
Right.
what I was hoping.
And that's what I'm saying. That's all going to be taken into account. You know, if we're only looking for 300,000 at the end of this to fund the whole park, you know, with 800,000, we can do everything except the pavilion. See what I'm saying? So we just got to wait till those numbers get really ironed out and present the presentation that y'all decide as the park board to the city council with the best details that you have. And that's why I asked that I think y'all need to be here again for that meeting on the 20th to talk about that.
Tammy, is that enough time if we meet on the 16th to get what we need, or is that going to be a workshop on the agenda?
So it'll be enough time. What we're going to do for the, we're going to assume from tonight's conversation that you guys are going to want to move forward. So I have to post the agenda before you guys ever meet because of the new posting requirements. So I'm going to add a workshop on the council agenda as well as the action, assuming that you guys are going to make a recommendation then for your meeting. So I'm going to post the agenda on Tuesday. You guys are going to meet on Thursday, and the following Monday is a council meeting.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, I remembered they changed all the stuff. Oh, I need to say one more thing. This is Manvel, not Manville. Yeah, Manvel. Manvel. Okay. It's just, I know a lot of people, as we grow, a lot of people are saying the name incorrectly. And I want to make sure that it's us that gets, you know, this park is going to be for Manvel. There is a Manville, Texas, it's just not here.
Right.
But
And it matters
I'm
I get a lot
a
of
stickler
mail
to that
lists.
because
Okay.
it took me a couple years to do the same thing, so I'm just trying to help out where I can.
I was corrected in another town as well, that we play, I'm from Montgomery, Dobbin, Texas, and we played Cold Springs all these years, and come to find out this year, it's Cold Spring.
Cold Spring.
So
Yep.
I was able to get on that one as well.
Yeah,
That's always going to happen.
So just remember it's Bull.
Manvel.
Manvel.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing that, I appreciate that.
I think, Paul, do we have opportunity to give Paul some time to make a few
I'll
comments?
just summarize what I have. If you've got maybe about 5 minutes. As you know, I spent a lot of time on Crow Park, and I've been working with Brian going out there and looking at the park. I donated some trees and some put out there that we planted, and also the issues right now that I see out there is that we have little or no maintenance going on. And Brian probably had so much going on with him that he didn't have the opportunity to really look at it. What's happening out here is all the flowers that we planted out there are full of weeds. And
So while you guys were having your meeting, I sent the Public Works Director a message regarding your comments. And so he has a quote from Landscape Art to maintain the garden that he's got a meeting scheduled to visit with the city manager on.
Okay.
So that should take place by next week. And so then we should have some sort of an update for y'all. But he did say, if you personally, Paul, would like to meet with him, I can give you his number and you can call him.
yeah, I'd like to talk to him about this.
Okay, perfect.
Right,
Because we
because
knew-
I've got a bird sanctuary at my house. I've been working for 12 years, so I understand the dynamics.
We're gonna
We've gotta
hire
do
you.
something out there pretty quick, otherwise we're gonna lose some stuff. Great, that's all I want to know. So that's all I have.
All right, I want to go ahead and make a motion to approve the minutes to date.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, I'll make another motion to adjourn.
I second.
So be it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?